guys, so I wanted to come on here to do a little coffee chat with you all. Here's my coffee. This is like my second cup today, and I wasn't planning on doing a video today because it's just one of those rainy days and it's just like blah here, okay? It's rained for 2 days, which I'm not complaining about the rain because we really did need it. But anyways, I'm like, you know, I don't want to clean the house. I done that yesterday. However, I do need to like vacuum and wash dishes, but I'll do that later, okay? So Isaiah's playing on the computer on like some little game that he's playing. So I'm like, I'm just going to come in here and do this video and chat with you all. So I really don't know what the topic of this video is going to be. It's going to be related to like family and friends. So it's just going to be some chatting about this topic here. And I've got my lovely coffee and I'm just going to sit and enjoy it while I talk to you guys. Yes, I do know that this here has a crack in it. You know, several of my coffee mugs have got cracks in them and they've got ruined because either my husband or my kids will take and sling my coffee cups into my sink, okay? Or they drop them. So that happens to my coffee stuff, unfortunately. So anyways, this wacky hair here's a mess. It's whenever it rains, my hair gets crazy and looks crazy, gets real freezy, but you know, it is what it is. So anyways, I was on Pinterest yesterday. I like looking on there. I love it. It's really, you know, addictive. If you ever get on that site, you'll understand it has tons of stuff, recipe things, just anything you can think of. You can search for it and a bunch of stuff will come up. Different categories and everything. But anyway, so I was on there. I like looking at the quotes and stuff. And I ran into this one, and this one just fit perfectly what I was thinking about yesterday. And some stuff had occurred, not with me, but with some family of my husband's. And so I was just browsing around and stuff. And this here, it says, some people will only be there for you as long as you have something they need. When you no longer serve a purpose, they will leave. The good news is if you tough it out, you'll eventually weed these people out of your life and be left with some great people you can count on. We rarely lose friends. We just gradually figure out who our real friends are. And then this one here really stuck to me too, which I've heard this one before, but it says if you have to beg someone to be in your life, they don't belong there. Guys, that is so freaking true. And I got my little cute coffee cup book. This is the best. I love it. But anyway, so that's sort of what the topic's gonna be about today. Family and friends, guys. It's a tough topic, right? So, without getting into really deep conversation about this topic, I'm just going to keep it light and smooth as possible. So, you know, let's just start off. For instance, for me, I'm not going to speak of anyone else. I'm just going to talk about myself and, you know, carry on. So, as a child growing up, you don't really realize, I guess, let's see, how would you say it? Like, you're focused on being a kid and playing, and you're not focused on, like, grown-up things and family, you know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't think of stuff like that. So, the older that I've got, after I had my kids and got, well, my first little girl and got married and stuff, you slowly realize, and I'm not saying this to be mean or to complain, this is just life and it's the facts. So if I offend anyone, I do apologize. But the older you get and you start growing up and maturing and you have your own family, you slowly realize how your own family can be and treat you. I'm not saying this of any of you all's family but mine. I'm just speaking of how I feel. So, the older that I got, you know, I was starting to see it, but I was so, not wanting to see it and see that it was there. It was sort of like I was just keeping it on the back burner. So, after when my mother died, I was starting to realize it more and more, like, you know, because me and my mom was close, you know. as long as that I had her, and of course my husband and my little girl at the time, and Gracie, it was like, you know, it didn't really bother me because I was just so used of, you know, that being there, and like they were my rock. So after her passing, and I started going through this little stage to where I felt alone, and which, you know, the whole grieving process, but I'm not talking about that topic. This is totally different. I do plenty of those topics, but I started to realize, I'm like, what has really happened to family? And I've heard this talk more so than ever here recently, just like by people and family and friends and what have you, church family, just it goes on and on. And I'm like, really, family is not really, to me, what it used to be, which it's not, because when you're a kid, you don't really think of it. It's probably always been there, but as being a kid in perspective, you don't see it there, but it is. So, you know, the older I got, I'm like, you know, it's so crazy how your own family can treat their own family. You know, it's crazy. And for me, I had to go through a whole lot of things, a whole lot of hurtful things, a whole lot of tears, basically. And I went through anger, I went through hurt, I went through denial, I went through, like, you know, just keep giving them chances, it's going to change. And I would always put forth the effort to have a relationship with others. I'm speaking of my family, some of my family, and some of my husband's family on his side. So, there for a while, and I'm talking years, I am talking years. After my mother died, it took me a good 5 years to complete accept of her passing. And then after that, I was still needing people in my life to help me and encourage me. There was like one or two there, maybe three, that really did. I'm talking about inner family, not friends. So, you know, during that time, and I'm getting off topic, I'm rambling, and I'm losing my train of thought here. But yeah, after my mom died, and, you know, trying to figure out life in general after losing her, and then at the same time, I'm needing someone to help me and to encourage me. And before then, I would be other people's encouragement, but it just wasn't there. And so during that time, and I know this isn't making sense because I'm in a rant, like I'm off topic and I'm rambling, but maybe y'all can understand what I'm saying. But during that time, I started realizing family is not what family is meant to be. Like, people don't love one another. They don't take time to spend time with others. And I'm not talking every day. I'm talking if you know, some family lives far away, but your close family that lives by you, taking one day of the week out to visit or to call, not even to visit, to call to say, you know, how are you doing? You know, are you doing okay? How's your kids? How's your husband? Things in that aspect, but it's not there. So yeah, and it's just really sad that families have become that way. And anyways, back to that, it took me a long time to realize that I can't change others. I can't change to make them to want to have a relationship and a friendship with me. You can't do it. If someone is set in their ways, you know, you can call them and they will answer and they'll talk to you. But I learned this the hard way. If something occurs and you stop calling and you don't put forth the effort, nothing's there. And it's like, you know, whoa. Okay, so I was the only one having to call you. I was the only one that was having to try to make a relationship here with you. But yet, if something occurs and I step back, it's done with. And the only time that you encounter those type of people is either on holidays, you know, like birthdays or like family get-togethers. Now, I'm speaking of family right now. And I'm not down on anybody, but this is reality. I guarantee you there's people in y'all's family that's this way. I'm not knocking others down. And in general, this topic here is just people's family in general. But I'm coming through my aspect. And I've heard others, you know, discuss this as well. So, but I had to stop. I had to stop calling. I had to stop trying to keep the relationship there and the friendship there, because I would keep getting hurt and knocked further down. Not so much for me. You know, I went through, you know, longing to have somebody there to help me and to talk to me and to comfort me whenever my mother died, which at that time they did a little bit, but it was just like, you know, it's hard to explain. But it was like I would go more than halfway to, to keep the friendship there. You know, it's half and half. One don't go over the limit to keep the other one there. It's supposed to be y'all both, you know, families care for each other. It should be, you know, equal amounts. Not like, you know, well, just whenever I can talk to you, or, you know, I can be there for you, or this, that, and the other. But I had to cut it off. Because it was just so much stress and so much hurt that I would carry. And until I completely let that go, it was really eating away at me. Like, it would make me so sad and stuff. And I don't even know why I'm talking about this. Maybe some of you out there is needing to hear this today. But you just have to stop. You have to realize you can't change others. It's just not going to happen. And to me, it was like a hang-on thing for me. Like, I was just hanging on because I wanted that so much. And I wanted the friendship. You know, your family's your friends too, right? So I wanted the friendship there, and like, but it was just, you can't, if someone is so like caught up in their own life and self-centered, you can't change them. So anyways, I cut all that off. Now keep in mind, I do, if something occurs, and sometimes it floods back the crap in my mind and the hurt and the heartache. But now that I have dropped all that off, it's just, I don't really think about it as much. So it did help. But, you know, now on to friends. Like, this is where it comes to, like, you know, there's a verse in the Bible, and I don't really know the verse. I should have looked it up. But it's talking about whenever you're married, you're supposed to cleave to your husband, and, you know, vice versa. So that's why God gives you your family, to love and to be there and support them when your own family don't. You know what I'm saying? Or your friends don't. And it's just crazy. Like, my mind can't fathom how people can be. So, that being said, let me get a sip of this. I'm all over the place today. That being said, after all of that hurt and crap that I went through, and then out of the blue, like, I think I might have started doing YouTube after that and stuff. Came across some fabulous people on here, and people at church. Like, we started going to this other church that's local here. Been going there for almost a year now. And, you know, people like that you click with so well, and it's like, they're sort of like your family. They become your family. And, but God does that for that in particular reason. You know, your blood family may not be there, but I guarantee you God's going to send somebody else along that will, you know, be there for you. So, yeah, it's just mind-blowing, and I just really, to be honest with you, I should have sat down and wrote this out, because I can't really express how I feel on the topic, because it's really too much. But anyways, it's just crazy. But, you know, that's how life is. Unfortunately, the older you get, you grow up and you have to face reality, right? So, but it's still, your family and you still love them. I'm not cracking down on them or nothing like that. You know, I love my family. I love his family. But it's really a shame if everybody could look into it in that, you know, aspect and see how hurtful and selfish they could be. They would well, I don't even think they would realize, to be honest with you, because it's just, they're caught up. And to me, how I feel, if you want to be part of my life half-time, or not even half-time, like maybe 2 or 3 times, maybe, I could count the crap on my hands of most of the people that I'm talking about here. I think if you just want to, like, keep us hanging and just be here whenever it suits you, to me, that hurts me more too, because it's like you're like getting my kids hanging here, you're getting me hanging. And if you're going to be like that, I think you just should stay away. That's how I feel. But on the other hand, I can't be that way because, of course, my mom and dad are gone. And I just want my kids to sort of have what I had when I was growing up, but I don't think it's ever going to be there. So that being said, this girl right here and my husband, whenever my kids have grandchildren, girl and guys, who's ever watching my channel, I'm going to be rocking the grandma thing out. It is going to be going down. Like, seriously, I'm going to be that cool grandma that does all this cool kinds of things with the grandkids. So, yeah, like, seriously, I will be. If I have to go in a wheelchair, guys, this girl's going, okay? So, that's hilarious. And then my husband will be like rolling up and walking on his cane and be like, come on, kids. You know, actually, really and truly, we would rock it out good because that's just how we roll. So, yeah, that's just something that I wanted to come on here and discuss about. I totally didn't express really what all that I wanted to talk about because my mind on this topic just wanders so, like, there's so much that I could express, but I can't. That's why when I'm doing these types of videos, I should write this crap down because my mind's a wanderer. But anyways, but I'm so blessed to have the people that God has encountered in my lives and my life and my kids' lives and my husband's. It's just, at the same time, it's like, you can't express it. It's like, you know, God really does place those people there to fill that void. And sometimes I could just be, like, for instance, like church get-togethers and stuff. You could sense the love there. And it's like, you could clearly see that it's there. And, like, you know, they may not be getting it here. Like, and some folks in our family here. But God replaced it with this. And, you know, it's just good how God works in those types of situations. So even though if you're going through this situation, which I know that probably some of you all are because it's life, families can be so freaking cruel and just like their heart's hardened or something. I don't know what the crap it is. But if you do have this type of situation, just remember that you may feel low right now and you may be going through a stage to where you really don't have any friends, or maybe you have them but they're just the types of friends that's not really, you know, really close. Just try not to feel so bad, because when it's the right time and when it's time, God will replace and put someone in your life to help you and to love you and to encourage you and to make you laugh. And like, really and truly, it makes you get your mind off of it. Like, seriously, it really does. But yeah, I'm just really thankful for everyone here on YouTube too that has encountered my life and all of the nice comments. Y'all are just something else, guys. I swear, y'all are just so sweet and always so thoughtful and encouraging. And, you know, I'm really thankful for that. It's crazy how, like, little did I know, starting off my YouTube channel, I've totally said this over and over, but, like, guys, when I started off, like, I would Google, like, I really didn't know the whole YouTube thing. I just thought YouTube was a place to where you could go on there and Google stuff, look it up, and, you know, see what you want. I didn't really know about all the communities and all those types of stuff. So when I started my channel, I was like, okay, this is sort of weird here. And so I started loading my stuff up, and little did I know that I would have the people that's here now. But I thought, you know, well, maybe I'll have like 5 or 10. You know, I'm okay with that. But I really didn't think that I would have as much as I do now. It just makes my day to know that, you know, there's people out there that watches me and supports me. And it's really, in my life, I know that some of you maybe not be religious and stuff like that. But in my life, it really has helped and encouraged me. And because I see that even though the things that I'm going through now, not so much now because I try to like write it off and just not even worry about it no more until things encounter, you know, and then it brings it all back. But, you know, that's life. It's going to happen. But, like, y'all have been such a blessing to me and, like, an inspiration. Like, sometimes, guys, y'all can make me laugh so hard. It's just unbelievable. And, you know, God does stuff like that. God will put people in your life and encounter you with the laughter and the kindness. And, like, some of you all share, like, sort of personal things, too. And it's encouraging. But I really do feel now, you know, I do all the laughs and the giggles and acting foolishness sometimes on here. But I really do believe that God has really used me a whole lot here on YouTube. And I do know that. Like, it's my testimonies that I've shared in the past. It's like, you know, that's the things that I've been through. A lot of those times I was at the weakest of my weakest. I really felt that I couldn't even make it another walk. But, you know, I did. And to be able to share that with you and to have the courage to do so, like, I kept it in for a while, some of the things, because, you know, some things you just don't share. But sometimes when you feel led to speak of it and to share your testimony, it will help others to overcome whatever they're facing within life. And I'm just very thankful that the whole YouTube thing, I'm really thankful that it's here for us to connect. Social media is awesome. It can be bad and stuff, but it's awesome if you want to use it in the good way in which we do. I know we do our hauls and all this stuff. Lord Jesus, look at that mess. Throw it back this way. I know we do hauls and stuff and, like, you know, just fun things too, but here on my channel, I'm just me. I like to be me, and I don't like to be around people that I have to change for. I don't change. If I'm around somebody, I'm myself. And sometimes people will just bluntly say, well, Lord, girl, you're just straight up. Yep, I am. That's who I am. I don't like beating around the bush. You know, what you see here is what you get. I just love everybody. And I just want to help everybody and encourage them. So, but here on my channel, I keep it real, guys. I don't do a whole lot of, like, I really do wish that I could do the editing and stuff like how y'all do. But, you know, I'm a stay-at-home mom, and I've got kids, which I just got one here now, but still, and doing housework and all that crap, I'll be here for hours, because, like, you know, I just don't have this, like, I don't know. I've heard that it's easy, but I just don't really have the time, and I don't think the smarts to do all that. But I just keep it real here, and, sometimes I act silly, sometimes I cry on here, sometimes I'm just a plumb complete goofball and crazy person. But, you know, that's just how I am. I'm really just full of life. You know, I've had a lot of heartaches and sadness and stuff in my life, but I do have the, I'm just, you know, I just want to live life happy and surround myself with others that love me, and I love them. And that's just who I am. I just don't like to, sometimes people, like here on YouTube, if there's fakes on here, guys, I can't roll with it. I'll just click back out of it, because, you know, I don't have time for that kind of garbage. I don't, I really don't. You know, life's hard, and we should all, which everybody's not going to be this way because it's life, you know. people can be cruel and, you know, mean and all this kind of crap. But here on my channel, guys, I don't put up with it. I mean, I can't do it. I just want my channel to be full of positive stuff and encouraging and uplifting and lots of laughs and giggles and, you know, just things of that sort. So I'm sorry about how I done all the rambling at the beginning. I had so much that I wanted to talk about, and in my mind as I was talking, I'm like, it's not coming out the way I wanted it to, but hopefully you guys understood what I was trying to come across. But you know, if you're there at that point in your life now, and you if you're feeling down and hurt and all this kind of stuff, just remember God's got this. He's got exactly what you're going through. He knew what you were going through way before you walked in these paths, and it's just a test. And Lord God, guys, I have to tell myself that so many times. Sometimes something will occur to me and it's like, okay, here we go again. What's this about? God, what are you trying to teach me? And sometimes He will throw things at you and it's like, oh my, like, how am I going to get through this? But, you know, in the back of my mind, I can remember the things that I came through. All that hell that I came through, I made it through it. And this little thing here that seems so big and so tall, God got me through it. So I have to remember that. And I'm just so thankful and blessed. And I'm just, you know, it's amazing how God can just put people in your life and you feel the connection. It's really there. You can just feel it. And I'm just thankful for it. So yeah, that's what I wanted to come on here and chat about with. I need to get off here and quit rambling before I just keep continuous. It's already almost 30 minutes here. So, and again, guys, I don't know if I've ever told y'all this, but if y'all ever want to message me, to share your testimonies and you don't want to put it down below if it's too personal, but if you would like to share it with me, just either private message me here on you know, YouTube. Some people probably can't, because I know on my app you can't message people, and if you don't really know how to do it, which I didn't either until I looked into it further, you can go over to let's see, I have an Instagram, and it's Nelson SA34, and I'll try to link all that below. But there's a way too that you can like message backwards and forth on Instagram. If you have that, you can go over to I've got a coffee lovers page. You could go over there and probably message me through there, or you could email me at snlovesgn@gmail.com, and I will link all that below. So if there's any of you out there that would like to message me and share your testimonies, or just message me about anything, I'm here to listen to any of y'all's problems, because I do like to help others. That's like my main thing. If I could just be a help to somebody in life, one person, if that's all that God intends me to be, I'll be there to do whatever I can, because that's just who I am. You know, I faced things like so much in my life at a young age, and I knew, not at the time, but now, looking back, now that I'm an adult and I have my 4 babies, and, you know, just to see their little lives grow and all this stuff, I can look back and look forward now to my future and be like, you know, I know that, here I go trying to tear up a little bit, but like, I know the reason God encountered me to walk through all of those valleys and the mountains in my life as a child growing up, all the way up to teenager, you know, losing my dad, losing my mom, and all this stuff. I know that God knew that I was strong enough, even though I didn't feel like I was. Like, a lot of times I felt as if I was going to lose my mind, and the older I got, when I realized all this stuff that I went through in the past, at times it got so hard, and I was like, you know, how can I bear this? I've got so much stuff on my mind, and so much hurt, and so much scars. You know, I was thinking, like, how can I get through this, God? But, you know, now that I've overcome, there's so many things that I'm thankful, and I should be, you know, thankful every day that I got through the things that I did, because it was rough. But I know, without a shadow of doubt, God placed me in that to share that you can overcome. Whatever you're faced with in life, you can overcome. You know, I've looked back and, you know, I knew that God knew that I was strong enough to get through that. And other people's testimonies that they've shared, which some of them were really rough than mine. I've seen, you know, on TV and stuff, people losing their whole family and they're left there with nobody, like either their husband and all their kids. You know, stuff like that. Just, you know, I've been through this. I've been through the things, but others have too. And if we could just realize that and just try to help others, and if God ever lays it on your heart to share and share your testimony with a friend or whoever, just do it, because you never know. You never know what you might say will touch others in this life. Because guys, we only get one life here. One life. And I'm not claiming to be perfect. Oh God, by no means. This girl here ain't perfect. I have plenty of faults and failures. But I want to get through this life, and I want to have the name that, yeah, she was a good person. She tried to do everything she could for anybody, and she's full of encouragement. That's what I want. And so here on my channel, I just want to express that if you all need anything here to talk about, if you're down, guys, just shoot me up a text down here, like through messaging or, you know, private messaging or something, and I will get back with you and I will pray about it. So that's, you know, that's my heart's desire, and this is a long video, I know it, but, you know, this is what was on my mind. The beginning of my video was all rambled up, so I guess the ending of it made up for it. So I just want y'all to know that I do love y'all. I love y'all like you're my family. A lot of y'all on here, there's a connection here that I could just feel it, and I know that God has encountered your videos with me for a reason, and I'm very thankful and I'm very blessed for that. So thank y'all so much for sticking with me and supporting my channel, and thank y'all for sharing the things that y'all do and all the laughter and the craziness that some of you girls do. It really makes my day. It really does, and I just love it. It's absolutely a blessing to me. So I'm going to finish up this cup of coffee here, and I'm going to get my butt to vacuuming and get on with myself, because Couponing Girl here's got housework to do before a man gets home, okay? Yeah, she does. So until next time, guys, this is the Coffee Chat with Couponing Girl here, aka Stephanie. So I will talk to y'all later. Bye.